Hello and welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Follow at GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, we've got the Clips channel for the Instagram and the TikTok as well, people. At GVO Mikes Clips, where I also post it on YouTube Shorts as well. Trying to get the best clips out there so people can watch them, the best moments and all that as well. Also, if there is a clip that you'd like, just post it on there. Let me know. People wanted me to be positive. Today is going to be a positive match reaction, a positive stream. I know a lot of people also like me raging as well, but I don't like me raging. Shout out to Barrio. First London derby win since Palace. Joe, I was thinking about this when I saw your comment just before I started the stream. I think you're right, because we drew with Fulham, obviously the previous Fulham game. We lost to Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Yeah, we drew with Brentford. So yeah, it's the first London derby win, and the last London derby win was on the second game of the season. That's bad, man. But that's why terrorism is not good, people. Don't do terrorism, otherwise you'll end up like Julian Lopetegui. 6 days later, all positive, fam. All positive. Shout out to Barrio as well. Shout out to Lee. Evening, mate. Good win for West Ham. 3-2 win over Fulham. Yeah, great win. Great win. We're going to get into everything here, of course, as well. It's a win I didn't expect either. It's definitely a win I didn't expect. It's a win that obviously was always going to be a difficult game, but it's a win that I thought we actually deserved, despite what the stats say. But we're going to get into that as well. Big up, Mike. That was a fun game tonight. Adama Traore could have scored a brothel, though. Oh, for sure. Do you know what? Adama, let's talk about that quickly, yeah. With Adama Traore, I'm always kind of scared when he comes on because of what he's good at, yeah. But Scholes and Cresswell defended him the right way, where they always know he's going to go around the outside when he's right-footed. So they made him cross onto his left foot and only cross from certain angles where it wasn't going to be effective. It was great defending, I have to say. And I kind of felt sorry for Ali Scholes. Like, you got to come on, you got to defend against Adama Traore. I know he's not the best player in the world, but he's got that power that if you're a youth player, you don't really want to come up against. But him and Cresswell played really well. I also feel sorry for Cresswell. Like, because you're about 34, yeah, you got to come on, see out a game against Adama Traore. and Cresswell never, ever did well against Adama Traore. But yeah, I'm going to get into everything. Like, where do I even start? I forgot to clip up something to poke fun at Iwobi and Calvin Bassey, because remember that whole, when they beat us, I think it was when they beat us 5-0. Oh, that whole, it's not just West Ham and trying to burst all bubbles. Does nobody remember when Iwobi was rapping in the changing room, poking fun at West Ham? Come get your chain back, Iwobi. Come get your chain back, bro. This is the thing, Alex Iwobi. You've had a great season, but I'm petty. I am very, very petty. I don't forget things. And Ola Aina, you're next. I don't care how good Forest are doing. I will get my revenge on Forest. But Ola Aina's next. These footballers that love to mock West Ham when they beat us, love to mock us. I always like get back. I always want my get back. And I have a feeling that we'll be seeing a lot of get back this season. Not this season, actually, but next season, when we can, slowly build under Potter. Listen, Potter ball is decent even when we don't have like many training sessions or our first team about at all. We don't have any of our first team about, really. Kudus Paquetá, Rodriguez, Alvarez, Souček and Soler as the front six, like midfield and attack. The back four is fair. Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman and Emerson. Only Todibo is missing from that, but that's still a big downgrade from what we see from Todibo to Mavropanos, because Todibo also makes Kilman better. And fair enough, Fabianski in goal, but you got to considering the injuries we have, which aren't an excuse, because we can rectify injuries in this transfer window in itself, because, well, we can. It's not like we're running out of money or anything. We're good with FFP. We worked within our limits with FFP in the previous transfer window, so there shouldn't be an excuse. And I don't care if the whole selling players to buy, that's just the whole excuse thing. Now that we've got an injury, you're seeing us linked to strikers, especially by credible sources like L'Equipe, who are linking us to El Yawahi, the Nons. Unfortunately, he's a nonce. But um, if he's going to join, then he's going to join. But I don't know. I don't even know if they'll accept an offer. But doesn't look like he's in favour with De Zerbi, so we'll come back to that another time. But we still need players. Like we did well with the players we had, using Paquetá the false nine role. Obviously, Kudus on the right. Um, they tweaked it in game as well, which was really good. And instantly from the off, we set the precedent. As much as we didn't shoot in the first 20 minutes, we pressed them. We pressed them, which I can't name you a West Ham team that consistently presses, like in my lifetime. So I've been watching football since 2009, started going games in 10-11, in the 10-11 season under Avram Grant. I couldn't name you a West Ham team, a West Ham starting 11 that is a pressing team. We've had Sam Allardyce, we had Pellegrini. Even though we played possession-based football, we didn't effectively press anyone. Under Bilic, no, no. Under David Moyes, definitely not. Definitely not. Don't get me wrong, when the circuit up pressure counter-attacking football worked, it worked. But when it didn't, oh my God, it was horrible. And under Lopetegui, I've said enough already. Sitting high up the pitch and not pressing was something I probably complained about the most when it came to criticisms of Julian Lopetegui. However, with this manager, instantly Thomas Suchek, Lucas Paquetá, Mohamed Kudus, Carlos Soler, Emerson, Wan-Bissaka, all pressing. Alvarez and Rodriguez getting tight. Let me start on Alvarez real quick. Edson Alvarez, well done today. Well done. Fantastic performance. I hope you can carry this on. I hope you could go on a run. Because that is what we signed you for. That is what we signed you to do. Not taking too many touches as a six. Keeping calm and composed in deeper areas. Passing the ball when you need to pass the ball. Not taking too many touches. That's what you need to do. Playing well under pressure as well, which is something that you were quite known for. But don't overplay. It was night and day when it came to the performance against Aston Villa away in the cup compared to today. He was brilliant today, and it's not like we came up against a bummy team. We came up against a Fulham team that, I don't want to say overachieving, that's patronising, but are doing really well and competing for Europe, and nobody expected them to be there. It's a team that's on. I don't know whether they're on form as of recently, but in terms of the technicians and the coach they have, like Pereira, Smith Rowe, Iwobi, Jimenez, who was still quite effective today. Loves a goal against West Ham, of course. We played against a good team. They were a great test for us today, and I was impressed with the performance despite what the scoreline says, and despite the fact that they had 20 shots, which I didn't know about until I got tweeted about it. But my whole thing is with that. Watch the game with your eyes and not the stats, because despite the fact they had 20 shots, they only looked like scoring when they scored because we defended badly in those two moments. But overall, we pretty much controlled the game quite well. I don't agree with Carlos Soler coming off, but he hasn't had many consecutive 90-minute games. So fair enough, but I thought he was my man. He was probably him or Alvarez were probably my man of the match today. You could probably give it to Souček as well. Wan-Bissaka was great. Paquetá was good. I would say Kudus if he actually could perform over 90 minutes recently, but fucking hell, that second half was horrible. That second half was absolutely horrific from Kudus, and I'm glad Potter saw it early, was proactive, and took him off. I've been begging at this club for a proactive manager that uses subs correctly. With Moyes, it was a case of just put subs on in the 86th minute and then only give them 10 minutes, including added time, to see if they can make any form of impact. With Julian Lopetegui, it was a case of, I'm going to be irrational and make subs for pretty much no reason and no form of sense, and use them at the wrong time and take off players that are playing well, etc., and then putting on players that are going to make you even worse and are going to make the team worse, and tactical changes that are going to make the team worse. However, under this manager, so far, it's one league game. Those were still subs that made sense because Emerson has just come back from injury, so I understood Scholes and Cresswell making it a back five while Scholes still had the freedom to go forward. Andy Irving did really well when he came on, to be fair, despite the fact that Soler did really well, controlled the game, etc. when he was on the pitch. Andy Irving coming on showed his technical ability really well. He kept it ticking. That's all you really needed to do when it came to seeing out the game. I actually thought there was not really anyone that I can say that had a full 90-minute stinker, which is good enough for me to not complain about. I can criticize you in certain things, like Kudus had a bad second half. I don't know how you go from that first half to that second half, but he did the exact same thing against Villa. But the things I actually have different complaints. So the one against Villa was his passing in deeper areas. We need to keep him as high at the pitch as possible anyway, because when he goes from the right-hand side to go deeper, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'll be real. I'm afraid because he's lost that confidence with the ball retention. I don't know what's happened. But today it was more of a case of fair enough. In the first half, you're losing the ball because you're getting tripled up on. But to be fair, you weren't in the second half. Against Anthony Robinson, he was getting his foot in. He was getting his foot in and tackling you. And tackling you 1v1. And again, when you pass to the side, it's a bit more risky than the middle because you could draw players in through the middle and play through the spaces. When it comes to 1v1 down the wing, that's not exactly the same. It's not the same because you could lose the ball down the side very easily because you've got no one to show for you, really. And I like the calmness of playing possession-based football. I like the confidence that Potter's given these players and slight bit of freedom as well to express themselves. With Mavropanos and Kilman, I think apart from the goals, they actually did all right. I think they nearly tried to ruin their performances with the goals. Wan-Bissaka only got ripped at the end where they nearly made it 3-3, which they didn't deserve a draw. They did not deserve a draw. I don't care what people say. They did not deserve anything from that. Despite the fact that we only had 4 shots, we scored 3 goals. We earned those goals. We pressed them into mistakes. We just made our own mistakes by letting needless crosses go in, and they scored. Meanwhile, we press them into errors, which is something we've been begging for time. And you can score goals in all different ways. Yes, you can score goals by playing through teams, playing football, playing long ball football, playing possession-based football. But also, you can score goals and make yourself score goals by pressing the other team. When have we ever done that of recent years? We haven't. We haven't done that of recent years. We haven't done it at all. Which is something nice. It's something nice. It's something really, really refreshing to see. I think also what I like about Graham Potter is the lack of formation. And what I mean by that is I was complaining about the awkward structure and just how awful it was under the previous manager, where it looked like we didn't know what we were doing. However, with this one, we have no formation because whatever you think it is on paper, it changes at least 5 times throughout the game because we're fluid. We're actually quite fluid. We're fluid. At times it was a 3-5-2. At times it was a 3-4-2. And at times it was a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. At times it was a 5-3-2. Like, it changes a lot. It changes a lot. I'll go through that tomorrow when I've watched the game back. Let me get into some of your comments as well. Shout out to Skase, buzzing about that. Not perfect, but players gave it all. Potter's given me hope. Yeah, honestly, it's the attitude as well. It's the attitude from playing under Lopetegui and then playing under Potter. Shout out to Warrior. West Ham winning, Chelsea drop points. Lord have mercy. Great day. Fantastic day. I saw them winning at halftime. I was like, fuck. And then 2-2. That made my day. That made my day even better. Thank you, Bournemouth. Thank you, Bournemouth. By the way, Bournemouth had about 10 plus injuries, so you can hold that, Warrior. But shout out to yourself. Big up, Max, my guy. Wow, I can't believe I'm not modded yet. I'll make you a mod now, Omar. Shout out to Omar. Yeah, lucky Warrior fam. But sorry, I had to because I got to give the energy back because I know there's people on my videos that can't wait to see West Ham lose because, like, some of them watch me. But listen, today was refreshing. Like, I don't think people understand. Graham Potter has had 3 training sessions. 3 training sessions. And we've seen more out of those 3 training sessions in 2 games compared to Lopetegui in 8 months. What did I always complain about on this channel? I want to see what you're trying to do. I want to see the outline of your style of play. I don't care what it is. We saw that today. We saw the box midfield again. We saw it build us in a 3-2-5 again. The 2 10s in between. To only have one winger on the pitch, I've seen that before. I've seen that under Graham Potter. Not under Graham Potter. I've seen that under Lopetegui. I've seen that under David Moyes. But with their football, they can't get the best out of playing people in awkward positions and stuff like that. When people play Soler off the left or Paquetá on the left, they're playing him on the wide left. On the two previous managers, wide left. They can't create from the wide left. But this manager plays Soler in the half. In I don't want to say half space. It sounds like a fucking nonce word, but just in the 10, just in the inside 10 on the left, just as an inside forward, just playing the 10, playing the pockets, and you get to create from those angles. You get to create from those angles. Like Soler looked himself because he's a midfielder. I want him to get a run of games. I want him to keep his place against Palace. I didn't. I was kidding earlier, but thank you for the mod, bro. I was always going to mod you. Don't worry. You just have to ask. Anyone that wants to be modded on this channel, you can ask. Also, I want to say this. Now that there's people here, by the way, because the last watch along was a fucking mess because my friends were trolling earlier. My friends from off camera. Also, as mods people, this channel is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Where we're getting more people in on lives now. So in watch logs, if you do see any weird comments yourself, feel free to ban them. Feel free to ban them. I've given you mods for a reason. So when you're here, if you see weird comments, because we get that now, because like we're getting to that stage now. If you do see that, just ban them. Just ban them. Even time them out. I don't care. You have my full permission to do that. If you think a comment is weird, and if it's a mistake, I'll just correct it. It's my channel. So just want to put that out there, by the way. But shout out to Warrior, shout out to Omar as well. Like what we saw today proves how much of a pagan and how much of an absolute wallad Julian Lopetegui actually was. Like Lopetegui is being made to look like shit even more due to what we're seeing under Potter in 2 games. I'm not even getting carried away, by the way. I'm not even saying that. I'm not one of these people like West Ham are back, which I wouldn't know what that would mean, by the way. West Ham are back. Back to what? But also, I'm not saying, oh, we're getting Europe this season. We're getting a European charge. Or Potter's going to win a trophy at West Ham or anything like that. No. We're being coached correctly right now in 2 games. Just get the best out of what you have for now. And hopefully you're backed in. Well, hopefully you get a striker. I want 3 players this window, to be honest with you. I want a centre back, I want a midfielder, I want a striker, maybe, or be 2 forwards. But also, even if you don't get anything, even if you just get a striker, I can live with that. Now, Potter seems to do really well with no transfers right now. But it's still only 2 games. Capitalize on what you have. Strike while the iron is hot. Not when, it's gone to shit. And then we're like, oh, we needed players. And we're in February, March, or April, May talking about, well, we needed players in January. Because how many times have West Ham have done that in January? Our last January window consisted of Calvin Phillips. Let's not do that again. Please not. Let's not do that again. Let's not sign another absolute nonce like him. Absolute pagan footballer. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this win, but I'm also hoping we can get the win against Crystal Palace as well. And I'm not scared of Palace. I feel like if we're going to draw or lose against Palace, it'll be because of our mistakes rather than us, being outplayed or anything. As much as they've had their team for longer, no excuses. Go and beat Crystal Palace. I know Potter has not beaten Palace yet because he was at Brighton manager as a bit of a big game. This is not a big game. It's any normal game. Just go and beat Crystal Palace. Even Lopetegui beat Crystal Palace. If Lopetegui can beat Crystal Palace, I'm pretty sure anyone can. Anyone can. You need to go out there and go back-to-back wins, in my opinion. Oh, fuck. Have we got Chelsea next? No, it's Villa next, then Chelsea. Okay, then it gets long. Villa Park and Stamford Bridge is long. Not going to lie. That's not great. And it's not the greatest of games to jump into, your first few games as manager. I know Chelsea drew today. I know Villa can have a loss now and then, but we saw the way we played against Villa in the Cup. I mean, hopefully we have a couple more players back by then, but I'm not too sure. I want Tadibo back. Trust me when I say this, like, I love Bowen. Bowen's our best player. Bowen's probably my favourite player right now. But Tadibo is probably more of a loss right now because at least with Bowen, like from Bowen to Kudus isn't much of a downgrade. It is still a downgrade, but it's not much of a downgrade as going from Tadibo to Mavropanos. It's not. I need Tadibo in this team. Tadibo will love playing in this system. So will Bowen, but playing on the ball, being calm with it, setting the pace, etc. That's something he's good at. And to be fair to Mavropanos, he played really well in the first half. Played really well. I still need to watch the goals back. But from what it looked like to me, the goalkeeper and the two centre backs need to do much, much better with the goals when I first saw it in the ground today. Excuse me. And listen, you can't leave Raul Jimenez in that space. You can't leave. I'm pretty sure was it Iwobi that scored the other goal. You can't leave these people in this space, especially on the form they're on this season. And to be honest, the defensive structure is actually really good from Potter. Like he's a very balanced manager, and there's a difference. When I saw Lopetegui say those similar things in the press conference, he was talking about focusing on defending and focusing on attacking, and we focused on neither. We were actually shit at both. With this manager, we genuinely look like a balanced team. Like we actually look defensively organized. We actually look like, where we can attack. We can create chances. We do need to create a few more deadly chances, though. A few more big chances. We need to test keepers. In my opinion, we really need to test keepers a bit more. I'm hoping we get to that stage. Like, I don't know. I'm not expecting it this season, but I'm expecting it next season. Next season, I don't know whether to demand expectation next season or the season after, because it's difficult when you go into halfway through the season. But I'm going to save my expectations for when we get to that, for when the summer comes and stuff like that as well, because I don't want to think too far ahead. But this is now a case of, okay, so you've got a few attacking talents in your team. You've got a few good defenders. You could have more defensive depth and stuff like that as well. You got young players coming through. You could have better midfielders, but you could have worse midfielders. Let's be real. They're not the Potter technician midfielders that are really perfect for a system. They are standard players. Any form of NPC. These are your typical South American, North American NPCs that we have in midfield. So you kind of got to put up with what you got for now, unless we sign a midfielder, which we're not linked. I've not seen us linked with one midfielder, so that's kind of bad. But I don't know whether that depends on Alvarez going to Monaco. I would love Alvarez to fuck off to Monaco. I don't care if he played well today. He needs to still fuck off to Monaco. But if you're going to stay, you need to play like that today. You need to play like that today. You need to play like that how you did today, play how you did today against Crystal Palace. Play how you did today against Villa. You need to rectify that FA Cup performance. Same with Mavropanos. The guy's a complete bozo, but I won't go too, pushy on him today. Fabianski, calm presence, awful kicker. We definitely need a new keeper. This guy was the sole, in my opinion, despite the first goal, still needed to be defended properly. That kick to Kudus, where he kicked it straight into his fucking chest, was one of the worst kicks he's done. And I've seen Fabianski do a lot of bad kicks. We need a new keeper. We need a keeper that's actually command his box like Fabianski, but can actually kick a ball. 8-month-long preseason, get players used to the system while working with the youngsters and new signings. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically how we got to look at the rest of the season at this current moment in time. You kind of got to be like, okay, so let's say it is an 8-month-long preseason, and then you get the summertime, you get a break, you get new signings in, work with the youngsters, as you said. You got Kane and Casey, you got Ollie Scholes there. You could probably call up Lewis Orphan if you really wanted to. You got players coming back from loans next season. You got Potts, you got Earthy. Hopefully we have a striker soon. I mean, we say that every year, but hopefully we have a striker soon. Like that, you kind of just want to see this West Ham team develop, man. You want to just see this West Ham team develop. You want to see this West Ham team go on levels that you're not really expecting. No, you want to see them exceed. And what you want to see as well, like when it comes to coaching, obviously you want to see your coach get the best out of your players, but you want them to take them to a whole other level your coaching to be that good that you can get them to a whole new level where, like, nobody even expected it. I'm not expecting that this season. I'm just looking at the table now with nobody playing. We are 12th in the table. I don't think it's worth looking at the table, but let me look at it anyway. And we are 2 points behind Brighton and 2 points behind Brentford. We're actually 4 points behind Fulham now, funny enough. 6 points behind Aston Villa. I'm not gonna read into that too much though, because that's always gonna change tomorrow. And fucking the league table looks kind of funny at the top of the league right now. But At the same time, you got Tottenham tomorrow. I don't think they're going to get anything against Arsenal. Man United will probably beat Southampton. Excuse me, but I don't know who Palace face. But it's kind of a 6 pointer, not in terms of that relegation or anything, but in terms of mid-table, getting a gap in mid-table. Um, we've got Palace on Saturday, 3 p.m. That's a game I would love to win because I don't like them, but also because it keeps the gap. Like I don't think they've been above us once this season, funny enough, and we've been shit. So that'd be nice just to keep afloat. We're 5 points ahead of them right now. If they win, they'll be 2 points behind us. I don't know who they face. I don't really care. Um, but what was I going to look at? Yes, fixtures, or the lineups, because we might as well do player ratings. We might as well. I'm going to bring back player ratings because the reason why I stopped doing player ratings under Lopetegui because it didn't really matter talking about the players anymore. It mattered just talking about the manager. Okay, so Palace face Leicester. Okay, all right. They'll probably win that. They'll probably win that. Um. All right, let's get into this. Fabianski, bad kicking, but also had quite a calm presence in goal. I'm gonna give a 6. I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10. Uh, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, good as always. Honestly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, good as always. Not gonna lie to you. Um, this guy he's inevitable. Like no matter the system, no matter the game, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, no matter the pressure, this guy is always good. I'm gonna give Wan-Bissaka a 7 because he's had better performances this season. He wasn't like outstanding, but he was still steady. He was steady. Like this guy is consistent. He's by far player of the season. Like in terms of West Ham player of the season, Hammer of the Year, whatever you want to call it. And we're in January. I'm pretty sure I could have told you in August that he was going to be Hammer of the Year, but we move. Konstantinos Mavropanos. He did have a bad game, but I need to watch the goals back. I'm gonna give him a 6. I think he still could have done better. I'm gonna give the same with Max Kilman. I think he could have, like, for the level that I know Max Kilman, and I'm being extra harsh on you because I know Tadibo makes you better. I know centre backs are all about partnerships, but there's only so many excuses I can make. So I'm gonna give Kilman a 6 out of 10. Emerson. Emerson was good today as well. But I know Emerson could do better. I know what Emerson's capable of. I think he suits his system really well. I want us to manage his minutes though properly because he's been injured a couple of times when we brought him back and then he gets injured again. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He's probably going to play against Palace, but we still need to watch him closely. I need him to get through this weekend so he can have a full week rest and just in training and stuff, do some light training and whatever. And then, yeah, then we can have him properly for 90 minutes. Edson Alvarez. Yeah, I'm going to say he's my man of the match today. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Compared to I would genuinely say he had a 0 out of 10 performance against Villa. To go from that to that is very impressive. I have to say. Guido Rodriguez. I'm going to say again. I don't think he was bad today. I don't know why people said he was bad. I don't know why people are going for Rodriguez today. I think he just did his job. Like I think he was steady. I don't think he did anything outstanding, but I think he was good on the ball. He kept it ticking. All you need from a Potter midfield is keeping it ticking, and he didn't give away the ball. I was actually quite surprised from Rodriguez and Alvarez how good they were today. But then again, I saw this against Man City at home, where I thought we were actually going to kick on. But it was really good. So I'm going to say 6 out of 10 for Rodriguez. I think he's scapegoated heavily. Mohamed Kudus. I'm going to give a 5. I'm going to give a 5 for Kudus. I'm probably being nice. But a 5, I think a 5 is fair. He's probably the worst player. That's mad, isn't it? He's probably the worst player. But I have to say 5 because he was really, really good in the first half. But he was extra meaty and turned to shit in the second half. Kept losing the ball way too much. Way too much. So I'm giving him a 5, man. I'm giving him a 5. Listen, no matter, you could be my favourite player, my least favourite player. You're going to hold corner on this channel. It's just a simple fact. Thomas Souček. Oh, I'm going to say 7. I'm close to giving you an 8, though. The thing is, I think Souček was definitely top 3 today. Oh, who would be in my top three players? Probably Alvarez, Souček. Alvarez, Souček, Soler would probably be my top three. Paquetá played well, Wan-Bissaka played well, Emerson played well, but those would be my top three. Those would be my top three today. But yeah, Souček was amazing tackling as always. He's always been a good tackler. Good in the air. He actually is really embracing himself in a position, but like good feet on the ball as well. That's really good. Like really expressing himself. Obviously, it looks awkward, but it doesn't really matter. Like because it did look good when Zuma was on the ball, but he never really lost the ball, Kurt Zuma, until his last season when his knees went. Souček's one of them. Hopefully, if he keeps this up, then cool. You can be a squad player. I still think as a starter, all three of these midfielders can be upgradable. To be honest, right now, Kudus can be upgradable. Paquetá can be upgradable. So can Soler. But I think Soler should be starting. I guess anyone could be upgradable, but you know what I mean? These three midfielders can still be very upgradable for me. I think we need better midfielders for Potter's system still. I still maintain that, but while you're here, you might as well express yourself in this system. So shout out to Thomas Souček, great performance, 7 out of 10. Carlos Soler. I'm going to give you a 7 as well. I think you kept it ticking. Carlos Soler dictated the play. He controlled the midfield, not on his own, but he was the main guy. He linked up well with Emerson, linked up well with Kilman, linked up well with Paquetá, linked up well with Souček, Alvarez, and Rodriguez. He didn't have a free role, but it looked like he was free. And he deserved the goal today. He took his goal really well. And we'll talk about the goals after this. Lucas Paquetá, a 7. I'll give you a 7. I'm actually it's more of a low 7 than a high 7, though. What I will say, he tried to play the game too much. And what I mean by that is he tried to play too much towards game management way too early on into the game rather than just playing the game itself. But I thought he embraced the false 9 role really well, but I've also thought he embraced the right 10 spot, second striker type spot really well as well. Great work rate. He always works hard, but sometimes he works... I don't know whether this ain't going to make sense, but sometimes he works too hard where some of the running you're doing is kind of pointless, but today was really, really good in terms of his off-the-ball work like it was against Villa. So really impressed, really impressed. Try and lay off the yellow cards. I know you've got a bet on, but try and lay off the yellow cards. Can I do any of the subs? None of the subs really. I don't think it's fair to grade Cresswell and Skulls. They barely had any time, even though they were both good when they came on. But Danny Ings and Irving, you can both get a 6. You're both good for substitutions. That'll be the player ratings part. But even the goals today, like all the goals we scored were pressing them into a situation where they couldn't get out of it. They couldn't get out of the situation. We'll go for 5-10 more minutes, people. For me, that's what I want to see. As I mentioned earlier, there's different ways to score goals. And this way of scoring goals by just pressing them into bad situations where you're playing with the ball, but it's a situation where you're overplaying with the ball. Like we trap them. You gotta play these players into traps. Like we pushed Andreas Pereira into a mistake. We pushed Bernd Leno into a mistake. We pushed Calvin Bassey into a mistake. Like we pushed all of them into a mistake. I don't know what the fuck Leno was doing for that third goal. But that really settled the game down until we made another stupid error to concede again. Because Danny Ings did really well. He likes to press anyway, likes to close people down, likes to set the pace off for the press, which is something he couldn't do under Moyes and Lopetegui, because when he pressed, nobody would follow him because they're not instructed to. However, with this time, I'm glad. I think people like Bowen are going to be finally happy that they get to press and not having to point to other people to go and help them with the structure of the press either. However, whatever, innit? Whatever. With me, that's what I want to see. I wanted to see you press teams into mistakes. I feel like against Palace we can see that again as well, because they are quite prone to errors. Like that LaCroix guy is good, and Gay is really, really good. I'm always been a fan of Mark Gay, but that LaCroix is a good centre back, but he's error prone. Like I don't know who else they're going to play third centre back, because I don't know what's happening with Chalobah right now. But their midfielders can make mistakes as well because they're not playing Adam Morton. Adam Morton's still injured, so just get the ball away from Eze. And the one thing I will say, as much as we handled Jimenez well today, and he's way better than Mateta, still Mateta against Mavropanos does scare me a bit. Even though Mavropanos, did play well. Did play well against Palace last time. Like Mavropanos' best performance this season was against Mateta. But it wasn't directly against Mateta. It was him and Rodriguez played really well against Abare Eze. Him and Kilman, for example, were really defensively resolute in that game. So I kind of need a repeat of that performance. Yes, it was under a different manager, but we actually have a better defensive structure instead of just going off moments, you know? So listen, here we go again. Here we go again. But that's all I'm going to talk about for today, people. That's all I'm going to talk about for today. I need to get up early anyway, so it's good that we kept this short. But listen, we're going to talk about more about West Ham in the coming week. And I've got a What We Learned video coming tomorrow. Won't have any watch alongs for tomorrow. I need to relax. But for Friday as well, we'll probably have the pod, or I'll probably just have the preview for Friday, then the match reaction for Saturday. Shout out to Villa fan. Poor again today. Who was poor again today? We weren't poor. You guys didn't play today, right? Because we weren't poor today, in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll talk about that another time. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to. No, I didn't think we were poor. I don't think we were poor at all. I'm being real with it. I know we didn't have many shots. I know the goals we conceded was poor. Oh yeah, I know we conceded 2 goals. But they didn't deserve it. It was just off moments. Mavropanos and Kilman need to switch on. But overall, the game was fine. The game was fun. It was really improved. Really improved. We actually controlled the game somewhat. It was just one mistake from Fabianski and one mistake from Mavropanos and Kilman. But listen, people, make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. My social medias are in the description if you want to follow me and email for any inquiries. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.